It was January 1959 when a group of 9 experienced hikers set off on what should have been the adventure of a lifetime. But when search teams finally found them weeks later, their bodies were scattered across the snow, some frozen solid, others with horrifying injuries. Their tent, slashed open from the inside, told a story of unimaginable terror. What happened that night in the Ural Mountains? Why did they flee into the freezing darkness, barefoot and in panic? To this day, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of the most chilling, unsolved mysteries of all time. The expedition begins. It was January 1959 when a group of 10 skilled hikers, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, set off on a trek into the Ural Mountains of Soviet Russia. They were all young, athletic, and experienced in mountaineering. Their goal was to reach Otorten Mountain, a journey that was challenging but well within their abilities. Among them was a mix of university students and seasoned adventurers, the oldest of the group at 38. The 10th member, Yuri Yudin, was forced to turn back early due to illness, a decision that would ultimately save his life. The group made steady progress, documenting their journey in diaries and photographs. Everything seemed normal until February 1st, when they set up camp on the slopes of Kholat Shakal, a name that means dead mountain in the local Mansi language. They were just 10 miles from their final destination. They never made it. When the hikers failed to return on February 12th as planned, their families grew worried. The Soviet authorities launched a search party, and what they found would haunt investigators forever. On February 26th, searchers came across the group's tent, half buried in the snow. It had been slashed open from the inside as if the hikers had cut their way out in a hurry. Their belongings, including warm clothes and boots, were left behind. It was as if something had terrified them into fleeing, into the brutal, freezing night. Following a trail of barefoot footprints, searchers found the first 2 bodies, Yuri Doroshenko and Georgy Krivonishenko, lying near a burned tree. They were barely dressed, wearing only their underclothes, and their hands were charred, suggesting they had desperately tried to start a fire. Not far away, the bodies of Igor Dyatlov, Zenaida Kolmogorova, and Rustam Slobodin were found, seemingly trying to crawl back to the tent. Slobodin's skull was fractured, but officials ruled his cause of death as hypothermia. It wasn't until 2 months later that the last 4 bodies were discovered, buried under 4 meters of snow in a nearby ravine. These were the most disturbing findings. Lyudmila Dubinina was missing her tongue, eyes, and part of her face. Semyon Zolotaryov and Nikolai Thibault Brignoles had crushed ribs and skull fractures, injuries described as being comparable to a car crash, yet with no external wounds. It was as if an immense, unseen force had crushed them from within. The Soviet authorities closed the case quickly, ruling that the hikers died due to an unknown compelling force. But their findings raised more questions than answers. Why did the hikers flee their tent in such a panic? What caused their severe injuries? Why was radiation detected on some of their clothes? And why did the government seal the records for decades? Over the years, many theories have surfaced, each more chilling than the last. The avalanche theory. Some believe a delayed avalanche forced them to flee, but no signs of an avalanche were ever found. The military experiments. The Soviet military was testing weapons nearby, and the injuries could have been caused by shockwaves or secret explosives. The paranormal and infrasound. Some believe the hikers were victims of infrasound-induced panic, a rare phenomenon that can cause extreme fear and hallucinations. The Yeti theory. A few claim a mysterious creature attacked them, supported by a strange photo found in one of the hikers' cameras. In 2019, Russian authorities reopened the case, concluding that a small avalanche was to blame. But many refuse to believe this explanation. To this day, the Dyatlov Pass Incident remains one of history's most haunting and unsolved mysteries. So what do you think happened to the Dyatlov group? Was it a natural disaster, a government cover-up, or something far more sinister? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this story and want more true crime and unsolved mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Until next time, stay safe and always be aware of what lurks in the dark.